Today is Thursday for the 24th, 2022, and it's a great day to have a day here on the Spurs Up Show, the best Gamecocks podcast on the internet. And on today's show, guys, I break down an incredible night at the CLA. It feels good to be good yet again as South Carolina basketball beats the Mississippi State Bulldogs by a final score of 66-56 at Colonial Life Arena. Guys, I'll break down the game in its entirety. I'll give my biggest takeaways, also hand out the shooter award, and talk what's next for Frank Martin's squad as South Carolina moves over 500 in SEC play. Who would have thought? Also, guys, hey, the Yardcocks are back in action this weekend. I will break down the weekend series against George Washington, guys. I'll break down the Colonels, also talk their pitching, their hitting, also, of course, talk South Carolina, their rotation, what to watch for, key player, and lock in my prediction as well. Also, we got a fantastic throwback conversation, guys. Great interview with former South Carolina right-handed pitcher Sawyer Bridges. Guys, one you do not want to miss, guys. Hey, we got a packed show for you here on this Thursday. And, of course, as always, guys, it's brought to you by our friends over at the Spurs Up Show store, guys. TSUS.store. That's TSUS.store. The best Gamecocks merchandise on the internet. Be sure to stay tuned to all our latest drops, including hoodies, T-shirts, long sleeves, pullovers, koozies, stickers, you name it, we got it. TSUS.store. That's TSUS.store. And guys, we got new stuff coming. We're talking baseball. We're talking St. Patrick's Day. We're talking all kinds of stuff on that storefront. So again, guys, be sure to stay tuned on social media, on TSUS.store. All of the latest fire coming your way. Again, guys, that's the Spurs Up Show store, TSUS.store, the best Gamecocks merchandise on the internet. Let's get it. Don't look now, but Tattoo Watch 2022 is officially on. And at this point, I'm just trying to figure out a good tattoo parlor in Cola and a good cheek to put it on. Because Frank Martin and the boys, they obviously want to see me have a tat of our head coach on my buttocks. Folks, happy Thursday. Hope you're all doing well. I'm Chris Phillips, your host of the Spurs Up Show. As always, appreciate you all tuning in. We have got a packed show for you here on this Thursday. And not to start, guys, on a sappy note, because we got a lot to get into. Hey, it's a celebration Thursday, right? We're celebrating, certainly. I've cracked a beer. We have some drinks. We're having a good time in the studio. And you should be. Hey, feels going to be good. 4 straight wins. Over 500 SEC play. We're still fighting for our postseason lives. But to start on a bit of a sappy note, somehow, some way, I stumbled upon this while I was prepping for the show. And it was an episode back from March the 14th of 2018. And it was called the State of the Armchair South Carolina Address, episode 40, right? This is episode 606, right? Episode 40 of the Spurs Up Show. And I clicked on it, of course, and started listening and was just prepping for the show, putting notes together. And I heard myself, obviously, talking about the progress we had made and the plans and what, Armchair as a business had going on, but talking about specifically what we were doing. And talking about hitting 1,000 followers, earlier in that year, and hitting 1,700 followers in that month that I was speaking in. And again, guys, my favorite word in the English language is perspective. Truly, it is. If you did not know that, it's perspective. Perspective. I live by that. That's what drives me, is perspective. Perspective is what drives me. And so to hear that, you know what I mean? To hear myself talking about that and speaking on that. And in that moment, I mean, I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing. I was at home, laying in my old room at home, and just my brother, I think, was even in the room. Shout out to Steven, who's in Anchorage, Alaska right now in the Army. I was in that room, just kind of like, I'm going to lay down and just like record an episode. My buddy, my co-host at the time couldn't do it. And we're going to talk Gamecocks, or just really talk business. You know what I mean? And it just provides a lot of perspective, man. It's when you hear stuff like that, it's cool. It's cool. So, and I owe it to you guys, man. It's life's a dream now. Truly. I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent or too much off the tracks here, because we're talking Gamecocks, but life's a dream, and you guys have made it that way. People recognize and really, really rock with the Spurs Up show. We're handing out stickers and giving out merch, and you guys are showing love and support, and it's just, it's cool, man. It's cool. And I just want to say thank you again. I try to show as much gratitude as possible. I try to make it a point to show gratitude each and every single day, each and every single show, but I lead my life with it. And I want to just express it again, that I really appreciate you guys. And again, this is not like it's just a thing that, you sit down and we live so present moment, right? You don't spend a lot of time looking back or even looking forward, but you live present moment, especially in sports, especially in just the way that I operate my entire life. I live present moment. I'm very a present moment person. But when you think back to what we've built and what we've done and where we are and where we're going, it is, it's really cool. It's really cool. And again, I owe you guys everything. So thank you so much. Again, it's just crazy to hear that. I was so excited in that podcast. It's 1,700 followers, and now we're about to hit 20,000 on Twitter. We're about to hit 23,000 on Instagram, and we're doing this, we're doing that. We're throwing tailgates, we're merch, and what have you. So I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you to you guys. And again, it's what's great about it too. And I know you all know this. Every time that I share something like that, I share it with you because we all celebrate together. I really feel like the people, people ask me all the time, why do you say we? Why do you say we? Why do you say we when you say that the content? Why is it we? Because we know it's you. We know it's you. What are you talking about? We. Because TSUS is nothing with just me. It's not. Right? Am I an important piece? Sure. But without the people that show love and support in TSUS, it's nothing. We're nothing, right? We're nothing. And to a degree, we're nothing. So you guys make TSUS what it is. You guys are pushing us to what we're becoming. And again, I just can't say thank you enough, man. Thank you so much. What a journey. The joy is truly in the journey. The beauty's in the banter. And hey, let's have some banter today, man. I didn't really plan to start the episode off so sappy, but just hearing that and just man, what a ride. Hey, let's you know what? it feels good to be good on a Thursday. Let's talk South Carolina basketball, guys. The Gamecocks beating Mississippi State. Final score: Court Cox 66, MSU 56. What a game. And a game that was domination, by the way, from the jump. It was 35-23 at half, and you won the game by 10 points. South Carolina guys doing something I didn't think they'd do all year, which was get over 500 SEC play. And, I said this a couple of days ago, and I'll say it yet again. At this point, gun to head, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm just stating a fact. I do think at this point that Frank Martin has solidified he'll be back next year with the recruiting momentum, with the late season momentum, with everything he has going for him. I do believe he's back. I believe he'll be back. I'd be shocked if he's not. And, I'm okay with that. Guys, I'm good with that. Again, what I said early in the season was because I saw a team, I saw a program that it felt like was dead. It felt like was on life support. And you know what? I said, if this team's able to turn it around, if this team's able to make a run, if they're able to push for the tournament, get in the tournament, then you know what? He should come back. And I don't know at this point whether you will get in the tournament, but you are making a hell of a push. And this team's playing for Frank Martin. They love Frank Martin. They support Frank Martin. They're giving their guts out for Frank Martin. And you know what? Again, at this point, I would predict he'll be back. Now, that game last night, I mean, you know, it feels good in a way because I picked South Carolina to win, and all you guys were shitting on me, right? You were all killing me for picking us to win. And it was just one of those things, though, guys. Here's why. Again, I don't try to make picks and try to be wrong. You know, when you make as many picks and predictions and opinions as I have, you're going to be wrong every now and then. You are. But I made this point for the game. I've been wrong more times picking us to lose and we win than picking us to win and we lose, okay? So I looked at it as this. Hey, South Carolina is playing like a team of destiny. They are. Momentum. It's college basketball, man. A team of destiny. And you have this Mississippi State team who beat you by 20 last time on your home floor. You do. And I think almost Vegas, you know, right? They had the Gamecocks a 2-point underdog. They keep begging people to take the favorite. They keep begging people to pick against us. They do. They do. And we just keep shoving up their ass. We do. We keep shoving it up their ass, right? We don't care. We don't care. And my biggest takeaway, guys, from last night is this. We are right now at this very moment. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way. I don't want to jinx us. We're a team of destiny. Right now, we are playing like a team of destiny. Like, this is meant to be the season that salvages Frank Martin's tenure in Columbia. That's how it's going. Whether you like that, you dislike that, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's how we're playing. I mean, watching us play right now compared to a month ago or two, when you were in CLA or when I was in CLA, and just watching us now, the energy's different, the camaraderie's different, everything about this team's different, everything. It's hard to explain what's going on in Columbia, South Carolina. And look at us again, out shooting your opponent, 44% to 36%. Guys, Mississippi State went 0 for 14 from 3-point. Meanwhile, you went 6 of 21, 29%. You shot 10 of 11 from free throw. They shot 18 and 26, but it didn't matter. You got the dub. I thought ball movement was fantastic. The energy, the excitement, this is a team playing with a chip on its shoulder, an edge. And again, you cannot tell me that this team is not playing knowing that I'm going to get a tattoo on my ass of Frank Martin if we make the tournament. There's just no way. There's no way they don't know that. They do. They certainly do. Right? I think Frank Martin does. I joked on the postgame. That's why he switched to the zone defense, because he's like, you know what? We got to do something, and I want to see Philly get the freaking tat on his ass. But they're playing like a team of destiny, coming together, man, momentum. You love to see it, man. Listen, we've all been critical of Frank, most of us. We all want to see the same thing, and that is this team win. That's it. We just want to see this team win. I just want to see South Carolina basketball, you know, honestly raise the level of expectation just a little bit and, you know, be a postseason team. Because, again, we talked, the tournament's all that matters in college basketball. That's it. And so, I mean, 4 in a row, man. You're over 500 in SEC play. You're top 5 in the league, I think. You have solidified a winning season yet again. You've solidified a winning season yet again. And that's something that has not happened very often. You know, you look at, let's see, the statistics on it say that South Carolina Let's see. The Gamecocks have clinched an overall winning season. Frank Martin, 6th in his 10 years at USC. USC's previous 4 coaches combined for 8 overall winning seasons in 21 years. So, there you go. There you go. And, when you look at the history, and that's why I went on record saying what I said about Frank Martin in the future. Is Frank Martin the GOAT? I don't know about that, but you know what? He's better than anybody we've ever had. He's better than. So that's why I understand why it's hard for South Carolina fans to say we want to move on. We don't have a horrid product on the court. We don't have a terrible team. Are we going to do anything crazy and make the tournament every year? No. But I think most people in South Carolina basketball just appreciate not having a terrible product. And so, again, guys, I say, who am I to fight that? Who am I? And, again, we'll address everything else postseason, after the season. But, what a win. What a win. A Mississippi State team that had beaten you by 20 earlier in the year. And, you shellacked them. Right? It wasn't even close. We got there right at tip. And, guys, it wasn't even close. It was not even close. Wasn't even close. That game was never in doubt, ever. Was that game ever within double digits outside of the first 5 minutes? I don't think it was. So, guys, shoot award for sure. It's got to go to Coos, leading your team again, 22 points, 6 of 15 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3, 8 of 8 from free throw. Jermaine Coustar, when he's playing well, we play well. And, of course, what's next for South Carolina basketball? The Gamecocks take on Alabama at their place. A tough game. Full breakdown of the show tomorrow. We'll talk about that game, but going to be a pivotal one. They're all pivotal. They're all big. They're all important. But what a win tonight. What a win last night, I should say. What a win last night. Incredible. The resiliency, the toughness. And, dude, again, there was no we're going to fall behind, come back, make a run. Bro, you crushed them. You crushed them. And I think really being at home, hey, shout out to Gamecock Nation, the crowd. I thought the student section was incredible. The crowd was incredible. The people I were with were fired up, and I was fired up. And, man, what a night. What a night. This team, again, is just playing with momentum. They're playing with confidence. And in college basketball, again, it's a lot like baseball where the game's really not about – and I guess basketball, it's different. The game is about size to a degree and speed. But it's such a mental game. It's such a mental game in the sense of you get hot, you get confident. It doesn't really matter if the guy across you is bigger than you. It doesn't matter if he's faster than you. It doesn't matter if he's smarter than you. It doesn't matter if it doesn't really matter anything. What matters is, again, your belief in your abilities, and you've put in the work. And guys, we're hot, man. The Cocks are freaking hot. The Cocks are freaking hot. So feels good to be good. What a win. Gamecocks at the dub, 66-56 at CLA over MSU. Guys, let's talk some Yardcocks. Hey, Mark Kingston's squad, I should say, returns to action against George Washington this weekend. And what really serves as the final, quote unquote, tune-up, not putting disrespect to the opponent, but the final tune-up in the season as you take on the George Washington Colonels of the Atlantic 10, their head coach, Greg Ritchie. Last year, they went 26-18, 14-10 in the A-10. This year, they are 0-3, got swept on opening weekend to University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. I think I got that school right, but either way, they got swept to the opening weekend. And the games, guys, were not very close. You look at the games, they lost 3-0, 7-1, and 23-3. So a combined score of 33-4 over their opening weekend. 32-4, the combined score. So again, they'll look to rebound against South Carolina. You look at their team, the pitching staff, last year, a 5.4 ERA. Their starting rotation, or what we projected to be, their right-hand pitcher on Friday, Harrison Cohen, 0-1 with a 3.6 ERA this point this season. Saturday, they'll throw right-hand pitcher Connor Harris, 0-1 with a 6 ERA. And then Sunday, right-hand pitcher Justin Solt, 0-1 with a 45 ERA. And again, guys, it's early in the season. Numbers are skewed, but that's who I project they will throw this weekend. Their hitters hit 293 last season, so a pretty good average. Guys they have coming back hit 349 last year with 27 RBIs. Utility player Steve D. Tomasio, good player for them. Infielder, No 11, another good one, 333, 6 homers and 47 RBIs last year, although No 11, 0 for 10 on opening weekend. So he's cold right now. And also infielder, Cade Fergus, 299 with a 2 home run and 25 RBI a year ago. So again, some solid players for the Colonel squad. You look at USC, their rotation, we would assume, is going to be Will Sanders, James Hicks, and Josiah Seitler throughout the weekend, 2 righties and a lefty. And when you move into what to watch for, guys, I think one of the top things you got to start with is the big knock and this offensive lineup. And you look at this team, guys, you're 3-1, and in 4 games, you have double-digit hits in every single game. But I'll tell you this. I talked to a former South Carolina baseball player yesterday afternoon before my 10 Roof show, and he called me with concern. And this is a guy that played on the teams with Justin Smoke and Reese Havens and James Darnell and Fish Dish. And, of course, I'm not going to drop him by name, but we talked, and he's a guy that I really respect his opinion. And he mentioned, Chris, how many homers did Wes Clark hit last year? How many homers did Brady Allen hit? Where are you getting that production? Where are you getting those big-time hits? And right now, I don't know. Now, with that being said, I think it's a good thing. Hey, you got double-digit hits in 4 straight games, and you got guys in your lineup that have done it before, right? Andrew Eiser's done it. Braylon Wimmer's done it. Josiah Seitler's done it. Kevin Madden at a different school has done it, right? There's big-time sticks in that lineup. And I'm not going to say, I'm not saying you're going to find a guy. There's nobody in your lineup that's going to do what Wes Clark did. Nobody in your lineup is going to hit 23 bombs. But where and when are the big hits going to start coming? Because I swear we got to lead the country in singles. And I'll tell you guys this, to be honest with you, I don't know if I really voiced this, but Tuesday night, I was frustrated. I've been frustrated watching these infield hits and these singles. And listen, I love getting guys on base. It's great. You start a rally that way. But I feel sort of like Ray Tanner right now in the sense of, bro, singles clog the bases. Hit dingers. Hit gappers. Hit bombs. Enough with the singles, okay? Like, somebody's got to step up and catch one on the barrel. And you look at George Washington, again, your final tune-up, if you will, right? You got to take advantage. Like, somebody's got to be the dude. Somebody's got to be the guy, multiple guys, to say, you know what? Hey, I'm catching one square. Left center, right center, route 325, whatever you want to do, hit a bomb. I don't care, bro. But on a night, especially like Tuesday, when the wind's blowing out, it's warm, dude, Phil Disher would have killed for a night like that. James Darnell would have killed for a night. Reese Havens, Justin Smoke, Christian Walker, JBJ, they would have killed for a night like that. Like, at some point, dude, I get it. We want to be more productive. We want a higher average. But, and I know people say, we hit too many home runs last year. But you don't want to completely get rid of the home run. It changes the ball game. It changes momentum. It fires up your dugout. It blows open a game. So can South Carolina this weekend find the big knock? Not the singles, not the random hit here and there, not the solo jack. But when you got bases loaded, man, and it's bases loaded multiple innings, and that team, they're walking guys, they're making errors, they're making mistakes. And you know what? The Texases, the Vandies, the Tennessees, the Ole Misses, they're not going to make those mistakes, guys. You got to come up with the big knocks. You better get into a habit of getting those big knocks. And it starts now. So can you find the big knock this weekend? Also, guys, what to watch for, and of course, you might have already heard today, recording this Wednesday night, but the status of Julian Bosnick, what is it? How close is he? Is he even remotely close? Will he be ready by Clemson week? I want to know what's going on with him. What's going on with Boz? Because right now, a lot of your season, a lot of the status of your season kind of hangs in the balance. It kind of hangs in the balance of, is he ready? Is he good to go? Is he healthy? What's going on? So how Mark Kingston updates that, hey, does Julian Bosnick getting an inning this weekend just to get him back in the game, back in the flow, right? So what is the status of Julian Bosnick? Again, guys, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but one of my other storylines, the final tune-up, really, with all due respect to your opponent, this is the final series where I think you look at it and you say, okay, South should definitely no doubt win the series. Good chance they should sweep and could sweep, and they need to take advantage. After this, you have Clemson. Like, guys, Clemson week is next week, believe it or not. I'm going to be on one, by the way, but Clemson week's next week. Then you got Clemson next weekend. You got Texas. Then you're in the SEC play, and you're off and running. So this sort of serves, and Mark Kingston talked, finding your best nine, finding your guys. This serves as a weekend to sort of do it. And that leads me to the final thing to watch for, which is establishing roles and finding that best nine. You're doing that this weekend. Roles for guys in regards to the bullpen, right? Getting guys like Thad Ector, Vito, Cole Messina, Lambros, Hornung, other guys, time, getting them ABs, getting them innings. This is the weekend to do it, man. It's the weekend to do it. Get them looks. Lee Croy, get them innings, get them looks. You like to go into the Clemson weekend knowing who your guys are, especially, I think we're fine in the field. We know our guys in the field, but the bullpen. Who's the first out? Who's the second? Who's the third? Who's the closer? I don't know. Guys, I still don't know. That's got to be determined this weekend. You need to make decisions now. They got to happen. So establishing the roles, finding the best nine, pivotal for the weekend. Guys, key player. Let's talk key player for the weekend against George Washington. And again, you feel like you should be able to have a lot of success, but my key player, a guy I want to see step up, Kevin Madden, the Virginia Tech transfer. He hit the big bomb on Tuesday against Winthrop, and a guy that I talked about a lot, hit 313 last year at Va Tech. I just really want to see him come to his own. I want to see this guy come into his own, be that dude and be a leader in the lineup. Because again, guys, we didn't have a guy in our lineup hit for over 300 last year. So Kevin Madden bringing that type of talent, that type of experience, that type of productivity, he should be a leader in our lineup. So I want to see Kevin Madden get hot. I do. I want to see Madden get hot. Of course, I'm sure many of you will look at Josiah Seitler. What's going on with him? Will he get hot? Will he do his thing? But I think Kevin Madden, man, he's a veteran dude. He's a major piece. He's a major piece of the lineup. Huge piece. He's a huge piece for you. So Kevin Madden, my key player for the weekend. I'm not saying he's to have a good weekend to win the series or sweep or whatever, but I just think he's going to be such a pivotal piece of your lineup. I would love to see him get going for you. Guys, leading into my prediction, long story short, I picked it last week, and I'll tell you this. I think UNCG is actually a pretty solid ball club. But you look at George Washington losing the way they did over the opening weekend, losing 3-0, 7-1, and 23-3. Again, a combined score of 33-4 to the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley. This is one, guys, I'll tell you. I'm all about winning 2 of 3, right? You win 2 of 3, you had a successful weekend. But if you don't sweep this team, I think we got some problems. I think if you do not sweep the University of Texas, if you don't sweep George Washington, who lost the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley, if you don't sweep them, you got issues. They struggled so mightily in their opening weekend. It's a team you should be able to take advantage of. I expect Will Sanders to deal. I think Hicks has a good outing. Piece it together on Sunday. You should be able to swing it all weekend and get those big hits and big knocks. And again, you have to, because this is your final tune-up. I do think, guys, the Gamecocks will sweep. I think they take care of business. I just think George Washington, not a very good team. It's baseball. Anything can happen, certainly. But when you lose the way that they lost, again, 33-4 in 3 games, South Carolina should be able to hit it all over the yard all weekend long. So again, guys, give me the Gamecocks. I got them getting the series sweep and moving to 6-1 going to their Tuesday midweek against Appalachian State. Again, I just don't think that I don't think George Washington's got the firepower to keep up, and I think the Gamecocks will continue to tool. I think you'll see a lot of different faces, guys in the bullpen, guys in the pitching staff, in the lineup, a lot of youngsters. Again, this is kind of your final weekend to sort of do that and tune up and get guys experience. And of course, the ideal situations, you're up big and you can get them in. And I'll tell you what, after an opening weekend where, yeah, you won 2 of 3, right? You won 2 of 3, you won your midweek 7-1, but that first weekend, I mean, nothing was easy. You won 9-7, lost 5-4, and then won on a walk-off. So you'd like to get some big wins, score a lot of runs, have a fun day at the yard, get multiple guys in. We'll see if they can do that. But again, guys, I do have the Gamecocks getting the sweep. I just think, again, George Washington on your level, you'll take care of business, and you will move indeed to 6-1. So again, guys, that's going to do it for my breakdown of the weekend series. Would love to hear from you, your thoughts, your predictions. Also, would love to hear your thoughts on the Gamecocks win over Mississippi State. What do you think, man? Is this a team of destiny? Are we going to the tournament? Am I getting an ass tattoo? I have no idea. Going to be a wild time, but yeah, as always, going to be a very exciting weekend in the City of Dreams. Watching the Gamecocks. Also, guys, quick reminder before we go into our interview, Carolina Ale House this weekend, the Harbison location, Sunday at 2:00. We are throwing a watch party for the Gamecocks women's basketball game. Tip off at 2. I'll be there at 1. Would love to have you guys come out. Again, that's Carolina Ale House in Harbison in Columbia, South Carolina. But again, guys, do not go anywhere. I'm done. We got a great conversation, great throwback interview with former Gamecocks running pitcher Sawyer Bridges from September of 2020. We sat down and talked about his illustrious career in garnet and black. So again, guys, hey, appreciate you all tuning in. It feels so good to be good, both on the hardwood, on the diamond, like really any sport at this point. Football, what Beamer's doing, hey, feels good to be good. Feels good to rock with you all. And thank you all so much for your love and support. Guys, hey, appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your Thursday and enjoy this conversation with former South Carolina pitcher Sawyer Bridges.
All right, joining us today on the Spurs Up Show, a man that played for Gamecocks baseball from 2017 to 2019. During his career, he threw 63 innings for the Gamecocks, went 4-2 with a 4.71 ERA, 61 strikeouts, and 6 saves. He also spent 2020 as a grad assistant on USC's coaching staff and is now coaching at a baseball academy over in Lexington, still in the local area. I'm very excited to have on former Gamecocks right-handed pitcher Sawyer Bridges. Sawyer, appreciate you taking the time, man. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, man, enjoying it.
Absolutely. So I want to start from the beginning because, you know, I don't know what it is. The Somerville to South Carolina connection has been very, very good to South Carolina over the years. I think of you. I think of some of your other teammates. That has seemed to be a nice pipeline for the Gamecocks. But again, you being an in-state guy, a local kid, just talk about your recruitment to South Carolina because, you know, a lot of people, they don't really think about that in baseball, the recruiting starts so early on. It's so much different than football. I mean, you got guys that are committing as freshmen in high school. You know what I mean? So it starts so early, but just talk about, you know, the recruiting process for you. Did you grow up a South Carolina fan? I mean, when did South Carolina come into the picture and what made you choose to go to Carolina?
Yeah. So you talk about the Somerville kind of pipeline. So it was actually at one point, I was committed to Clemson. TJ Hopkins played with him since I was young. He was committed to College Charleston. And then everybody thought Zach Bailey, who lived with me for a brief time, but we went to middle school together and then high school together. Everybody thought he was going to Clemson. And we all ended up like figuring it out. I decommitted, TJ decommitted, Zach ended up deciding to go to South Carolina. So it was crazy, and that happened within like a 1-year span. But yeah, like my family was always South Carolina fans. My dad's side of the family, they were all Georgia people, so I had some interest in Georgia. Obviously, I committed to Clemson when I was young. They were the first to offer, so I don't know. I loved Coach Leggett, loved Coach LaCroix, and loved Coach Pepicelli. I actually saw him. He's the head coach at Cornell, so when we played them my senior year, I got to talk to him, so that was pretty cool. But yeah. So I'm trying to think the timeline. So I think I committed to Clemson going into my sophomore year, and then I decommitted my junior year. And that's when Coach Holbrook reached out, and we started talking, and just kind of fell in love with the place. My brother talked me into it as well, so it all ended up working out. But
how much easier did it make the decision when it's like you, TJ, Zach Bailey, you guys are all going to Carolina? How much easier did it make that decision since all your buddies basically are going to Carolina? It's like, hey, why don't we just go to Columbia together?
Yeah, it made it real easy. Like, I don't know, especially when TJ was on me, because I think TJ was already committed. And when he was on
I
me,
know
I was
he's a diehard Gamecock, man. He bleeds it.
yeah, he's like my brother.
Yeah.
He's like my brother. Like, he'll fight people over it. Like, I don't know. He had me committed pretty much. And then, honestly, Coach Elliott, the football, I got pretty tight with him. My phone's sitting up on this thing. But yeah, Zach was talking to Coach Elliott, and I got to meet him because I play football too. And so I actually saw like a bunch of the recruiting coordinators for like all these, I don't know, major colleges through Zach. And I got really tight with Coach Elliott. And then when TJ was talking to me, and then when Coach Holbrook, came in the picture, it was just like, I don't know, it just seemed like it fit. And I really like the coaches. I like the players. I knew that if I already knew people when I was going in, I'd already be more comfortable. And just like, I feel like if you're more comfortable when you go in, then like, it's not, I don't know, it's not as new. It's not, you don't feel so overwhelmed. And so I felt like that was a big part for me as well.
For sure. So I want to talk about Coach Holbrook a little bit. And we're going to kind of get into what happened going from the transition from Holbrook to Kingston. But what was the relationship like with him? I know he was obviously on the staff when South Carolina won the back-to-back national titles. Definitely a player's coach. Players loved him. I mean, all your teammates I've had on that have talked about him, they all loved him. What was the relationship like with you, between you and Holbrook?
Yeah, so I love Coach Holbrook. I still talk to him every so often. Like, I love Coach Holbrook. I love playing for him. We've always had a good relationship. I never had met him before I committed to him. Well, no, so when I committed to Clemson, I had never met Coach Holbrook. Coach Myers was the one that originally showed me around on my first visit when I was like a freshman or something. So I didn't really know him. But then when I decommitted from Clemson, we got really tight through him recruiting me. He actually came down to some football games. He, I think, watched me play against Goose Creek like my junior year after I decommitted. And so I created a relationship with him then, and I don't know, I just fell in love with the guy, man. He's awesome. He's a great dude. He just was a lot like a lot of people I know from Somerville, just kind of laid back. So we just kind of hit it off.
For sure. So as a freshman in 2017, Sawyer, you made 8 appearances, but you tore your rotator cuff, which leads me to this question, because I know Gamecock fans later in your career, and you were a guy that was constantly battling arm injuries. And a lot of guys do, but were you over the top when you came in, or were you always sidearm, or did you drop down because of the injury?
Yeah. So come to find out, I had I'd always had arm injuries like throughout high school, but like I never thought they were serious. I thought it was just soreness. So I would play around with arm slots, but I never dropped like super low. And I was a really hard thrower over the top. But when I got hurt my freshman year, I was over the top my freshman year. And I was throwing it pretty good, but I was giving up freaking tanks. So yeah, I figured out real quick. It doesn't really matter how hard you throw. If it don't move or you ain't got something else to go with it, it don't matter. So yeah, that's when I made the change, and it was due to the injury that I made the change and had to drop subby.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you have like a welcome to the SEC moment? Because, I mean, obviously that 17 team, the entire time you're there, there's talent all over the field. I mean, you're going to see you're going to get tested in the inter squads and the scrimmages from your own guys. Was there like a welcome to the SEC moment where you're like, yeah, like you said, I got to find a secondary pitch, or I got to change something up?
Man, it had to be first fall scrimmage or second fall scrimmage. It wasn't even like season when I learned it. I mean, it was – I never really given up many hits in high school, just because, like, if you throw hard and you've got good stuff, don't touch it. And that's, I mean, the difference between high school ball to, like, even JUCO and is just, like, drastic. And then you take that from going straight from high school to SEC ball, it's crazy. And what I started realizing early, like, in the scrimmages, was that if you can't change speeds and locate, like, these hitters, it's all about the count. If they know it's a 2-0 count and you're throwing a fastball, like, they're going to hit it a long way if you put it in their barrel path. And I can't remember who I gave up a bomb to. It was plenty of them, but it was somebody in the fall, and I was just like, Jesus, man, like, that pitch, I either blow it by or just the kid watches it in high school. Yeah, there was a lot of moments, though. I mean, definitely, of course, the Kentucky game when I was getting freaking, I don't know, just annihilated. That was right before, like, I actually found out I had the injury. That game, of course, was kind of the welcome to the SEC. But I think that one, I'm pretty sure that was my second SEC outing. My first one I did all right in. But, yeah, I'd say those two moments, just the fall and honestly Kentucky.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about, because like you said, you were committed to Clemson really early on, and then you obviously decommit and you go to South Carolina. So I know that the Carolina-Clemson rivalry had to be very interesting for you. I mean, it's already intense. It's the best rivalry in college baseball, in my opinion. But you got an appearance in that your freshman season through 2/3 scoreless with a strikeout. The game didn't turn out the way you wanted, but to get in there as a freshman against Clemson after decommitting and committing to Carolina, like I'm sure that had to be like such an adrenaline rush for you.
Yeah. So, and I apologize. That alarm's gonna go off again. I don't want to get out of the app, but yeah, man, like you hit it spot on. So to replay that game a little bit, shoot, I can remember it was like it was yesterday. So I'm sitting in the bullpen, and I think we give up the home run to Seth Beer for him to tie it, and then someone goes in front of me, and then they throw a wild pitch, like. I think it was tied 3-3. Yeah.
This was the Sunday game, right? This is the Sunday. Yeah, at Carolina.
This was the rubber match. Like,
yeah. I remember that. Okay.
And so it's me and this other guy warming up, and the game's tied. And I haven't even pitched that well in the first place, but we were just running low on arms. T-John was down, and like I did have a good scrimmage, good couple of scrimmages in the spring. So like they thought pretty highly of me. So I was sitting in the bullpen, and me and this other guy, he was a vet. And we were warming up, and I was like, holy crap, like, this is it. Like, I was hoping, though, like, honestly, deep down, I was hoping they would put me in. Like, I mean, I was that – because that's what I came here for. Like, I lived for that. But I didn't get the call then. So the guy goes in, throws a wild pitch. Of course, they score, and so they're up 4-3. And I'm already pissed, but I'm thinking, like, all right, they're going to let him ride it out. Well, then they call down, and they're like, all right, you're in. So, yeah, it was – I mean – there's no ill will for me for Clemson. Like, it was a strictly like business decision. I kind of knew Coach Leggett was going to get fired. You could kind of just see the writing on the wall, and I didn't want to be stuck my senior year trying to find a place to play. Or playing from a coach that I didn't know. So, I mean, for me, it was just the rivalry itself, like the hype of it, the fans, everything else. Like, yeah, man, you hit it on the head. That it was crazy. It was an adrenaline rush, that's for sure. I can't remember what happened in my outing. Like, I couldn't tell you, but I remember the thought process before I went in, and it was intense.
Yeah, I just remember after that series saying, thank God we don't have to ever see Seth Beer again. That dude tore up South Carolina pitching. I mean, he tore up everybody, but, I mean, every time they needed a big hit, he came up with it seemed like.
Yeah, I played with him in travel ball, and, like, he's a super, like, kind of quiet guy. But, man, he's a stud, and you could tell he was going to be a stud. Like, it's that dude's going to hit everywhere he goes. He's good, man.
Yeah, well, I've got to ask you about that 2017 season again. You suffered the injury. It's like everybody got injured that year. I mean, Clark Schmidt went down, Tyler Johnson went down. And that season was a lot like 2019, the same team you were on, that it seemed like every weekend it came down to the last game and something happened and you guys would drop the series for whatever reason. I know the frustration had to mount, and then over the summer, Chad Holbrook steps down, whatever happens. He's no longer the head coach at South Carolina, goes to College of Charleston. Mark Kingston's hired. Back to Holbrook, though, when you heard of the news, did it surprise you? Like, what was your immediate reaction? You were talking about you didn't want to go to Clemson, and, you knew Leggett was going to get fired. How did it – what was the thought process like there? Because, again, you just said you wanted to avoid that, and then you literally run into that same problem after your freshman year.
Yeah, see, like, I'm a realist, so I thought I was gone. Like, I sucked. I had a freaking 11 ERA. I was terrible. I mean, the coach just got, fired. I was really close with him.
So you thought they were going to cut you?
I thought the new
or
coach,
you asked you to transfer or whatever. Like,
I thought Coach Kingston was legit going to come in because I put myself in their shoes. A guy comes in, he looks at the returners. Hey, this kid's got an injury that most people already don't come back for, and he had a freaking 30 ERA or whatever it was. Like, why is he even still here? So I was like, man, this is going to be a tough talk. But then Coach Myers called me, like, middle of the summer, and I guess he kind of had heard who was going to get the job, or maybe Coach King had just gotten the job. And he was like, hey, don't freak out. Like, we'll discuss this later on. And I told him, I was like, Coach, I understand. Like, if this is the conversation and this is the direction it's going, like, just kind of tell me. But he was like, nah, man, like, we'll figure it out going forward. Just kind of be in touch with me, everything else. And so I was like, all right, well, so that was kind of my mindset. It was just like, dang, where am I going to go play now? But, you know, it definitely hurt. I think it was unfortunate, but I think there was a lot of accountability issues. You know, I just feel like some guys, I don't know, they like to point the finger, you know, when things are going bad, instead of pointing it at themselves. But, you know, like I had an 11 ERA. I felt like I got too many outings after that. Like there's some guys that are batting 200 and thought they should be getting ABs and blaming the coach and doing this and that. And it was the same thing with any coach you play for, even in high school. You know, and it's almost the problem with some people, man. There's just no accountability. So, you know, for me, it was just like I was more disappointed because I felt like if I would have done my job better, maybe it wouldn't have happened. And it's even the same thing like when I played for Coach Kingston. You know, it's just I guess I'm a coach's kid, so I understand it because I saw, you know, with my dad and how it is. You know, you just feel bad when you let your coach down. And so that was more my mindset. I just felt like, man, maybe if I would have pitched better and could have, you know, helped when T-John went down and when Clark went down, like this all wouldn't happen. Same thing in the 2019 season. Like I was hurt, man. I had no business being out there sometimes, but I wasn't going to say I was hurt because other guys were, you know, other guys were saying they were sore and stuff. So I was like, well, I can't be that guy on top of it. Like I've got to go at least try and give him some pitches, not let him throw a freshman who's obviously struggling. Like, so it sucks, man. When it's going bad, it really sucks.
Yeah. I hear you. You said you don't want to be that guy. Give some insight though to people of just like how hurt you were, because people don't, I mean, when you're a pitcher and your arm's hanging, that's literally your weapon right there. I mean, you're hanging every other day and you're having to ice that thing, especially like I said, you recover from the rotator cuff. Like, so that I'm sure that because you had your best year as a sophomore. I mean, you go through the stats: 1.35 ERA, 21 appearances, 5 saves, 25 strikeouts. I know you and Graham kind of split the, you know, as far as who was the closer or whatever, but you threw some big innings that year. Obviously, you everybody remembers the clip of you I think you struck out the last guy in the ECU regional or whatever. I mean, you threw some really big innings that year, but I think people just don't understand, like, when you're hurt and you're trying to throw and, like, it is just – I mean, it's nearly impossible. Like, and you battled through it. I mean, kudos to you for that.
Yeah, so people who play with me, they're going to laugh at this because, I mean, I don't know. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. But so after SEC tournament, my arm felt like crap. And this was my sophomore year, so it felt like crap. And we had the regional next week. So, you know, I go to the trainer. I'm like, hey, I need a cortisone. Like, let's get a shot to the arm. I just won't throw. Like, Coach Mead had already kind of told me, he was like, man, you know, just take what time you need. Just let me know when you can go. I was honestly like, I really wasn't the closer per se. It was more so if Eddie can't go, like, because Eddie was our guy.
Right.
But if Eddie couldn't go and they needed a guy to get ground balls or thought that like a righty was coming up or something, then I was the guy. And then towards the end of the season, it turned into me closing. So I started throwing more. And that's why, like I said, in the SEC tournament, I felt like crap. And then, so I got a cortisone, like, I think, maybe 4 days before the regional. And I remember throwing against ECU, like, felt fine. Everything felt fine. And then I think I either threw the next day or the day after. And that was, like, new for me. Because, like I said, with the injury, man, like, you can't recover. That's right. The problem is you just can't recover. And so I remember warming up to our bullpen catcher, and I was like, this was before Wilmington, and this was, like, the final game to go to the Supers. And I said, dude, you better tell me if it looks like crap. Am I still there?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I was like, you better tell me if it looks like crap. Like, I can't be going out there if it's 75. And he was like, no, you're good. You're good. Like, he was hyping me up.
Right.
And so I throw maybe 5 pitches. I'm like, screw it, whatever. Like, I don't care. If it sucks, it sucks. So I go out there, and my first warm-up pitch, because it flashes on the board, was 74. And I was like, Jesus, like, this is going to be bad. And next thing I know, I flip in the first pitch, like 78. I was just throwing fastballs that were probably changeups, just like rolling over it. And I got like 2 ground balls, a line drive. And next thing I know, we were heading off to the Supers. And I was like, I don't know how I did that, but let's go. Like, let's figure it out now in Arkansas. And it was the same way, man, like pure adrenaline, and thank God for quarter zone shots.
Throw now, ask questions later, for sure. I love it.
At that point, like, man, I'm not playing pro ball. Like, it's all to win now. I wanted to go to Omaha. That's what you come to South Carolina for. So at that point, man, I really didn't care. Like, my arm blew out in Omaha. It did. Like, it really didn't matter.
For sure. So I do want to ask you about, because, again, the 17 to 18 year, the bounce back for the team as a whole, not just for you, but the team as a whole was huge. But obviously you go from Holbrook to Kingston. And, again, I've talked to a lot of your former teammates just about the impact he had, the transition. From your perspective, though, what was it like? Because, again, the 18 season was so interesting. You know, you guys got off to a slow start. Then the Presbyterian game happens. All hell breaks loose, I assume, in the locker room. And then this massive turnaround. You sweep LSU. It's like South Carolina just comes out of nowhere and goes on a tear. But just talk about that 18 season, the impact Kingston had, you know, so quickly it seemed. I mean, I've talked to, you know, I talked to Stokesy and a couple of the hitters. I mean, it's like just guys he re-energized a lot of their careers, it felt like, guys at the plate especially.
Yeah. So it was just like, I don't know. I think it was a lot of guys who were fed up with how they played. I think, like, going back to that whole accountability thing, like, I honestly think after that Presbyterian, all those coaches just, like, they made you feel like, what are you doing? Like, I just remember him telling us, like none of us have earned anything. And what stuck with me is, like, even Coach Kingston was like, I haven't done anything here. None of you have done anything here. We're all at the same level. And so I think it just brought about, like, the camaraderie that, like, okay, we really all are on the same level. Like, we've got to figure this out together and not be a bust. Because a lot of kids on that team, I think 11, 12 drafted, and the way they had played before, like, that was not going to happen. They were not going to get drafted. So I think everybody it was kind of like they were pissed off that, you know, we hadn't done something in so long. The season was just going just like everybody thought it was. We were going to, you know, blow it or whatever, just be a buzz. So I think a lot of people just got fed up and were like, dude, I'm going to be the player I was supposed to be, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to go and ball out. And I honestly think that's just what it was like after that meeting. I know it's been talked about a lot, but, like, that's kind of what it was for everybody. But yeah, I mean, when he came in, it was just new, like, playing for someone new. It comes in, there's new rules, it's new everything. So you're just trying to kind of figure it out. But, you know, I was lucky enough that I got close with both coaching staffs. You know, I loved complete, I wouldn't say opposites, but, like, the way they coach, I guess, and the structure is a little bit different. But I mean, obviously both work. You know, Coach Holbrook's doing really well down at College Charleston, and Coach Kingston's got a great resume. So, and, you know, we played really well that year, and I think they're going to be really good this year. So, I mean, it's any style can work. It's just a matter of having the right group of guys to buy in, and that's the biggest thing, is the buy-in from the players. And like I said, we just held ourselves accountable that year and kind of figured it out.
For sure. So I want to jump ahead again. We already talked about kind of the ECU regional. Obviously, you guys go to Fayetteville. You're one game away from Omaha. That 19 season, I know you were talking about, like you said, you were the guy if Eddie went down or couldn't go or just whatever. But that 19 season, you were the guy. You were the closer. Obviously, I'll never forget you guys. 18 and 19 had those tough opening day losses, come back, win the series, whatever. But just talk about the 19 season for you as a whole, because, again, I felt like it was one of those seasons where you more so just dealt with injuries more than anything. I mean, just like you said, your arm was hanging. I mean, it was hanging in 18. It was hanging in 19. Just, yeah, can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me? Sorry, I might have cut out.
Yeah, I think I got you now.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I can edit it out. It's all good.
All right, my bad.
Right. No, you're fine. You're fine. I was just gonna say from 18 to 19. I mean, you were the guy in 19, the closer, and you guys had those weird back-to-back opening day losses, but then won the series after. But just, you know, your arm was hanging in 19. I think that was more of a product of, like you said, your arm injuries and struggles with that. And, I mean, you said it was hanging in 18 too. But just talk about the 19 season, because I know that's not necessarily the way you wanted to go out, because that was your last season playing. I think you probably just said screw it with all the injuries going on. But just talk about that 19 season for you personally, just trying to deal with that. And, again, I know I asked you earlier, but just giving people perspective. I mean, how hurt you really were just trying to make it work.
Yeah, so like I felt like I just had the great season. We were a really young team, and that night team, like we were super young, especially on the mound.
Yeah.
And like it really wasn't too much expectation, I don't believe, but in the locker room there was a lot of expectation, and like some of us upperclassmen held like we expected a lot of that team. I mean, none of us just wanted, like, there's still seniors on that team that want to go out with a bang. So like that, the whole outside noise, like we were dead set we were going to be really good, and I think we proved that we were a good team. Like we beat a Liberty team that was really good. We could have swept them if I don't give up a bomb. And we beat a good Clemson team that got, I think, to a regional or super, one of the two. Like, it was weird, man. I think the injury that happened to Carmen, I think honestly was a turning point. And the reason I say that is because I don't think people understood the trickle effect of that. Because first of all, Reed didn't even come in as a starter. We were starting, I think, a freshman, and then we were starting Carmen as a sophomore, as I think Friday guy at the time or whatever. And then that trickles into the bullpen when now you're asking somebody else to get 5 innings. 5 innings can turn into a lot, especially when you've got a couple of relief guys like myself who can't really bounce back and can't throw a lot. And then you couple that with young arms. I mean, it's not excuses. It's just facts that an injury like that trickles down to not just starters, but to the bullpen. And, I probably was just trying to do too much, should have been more honest at times. But, I saw other kids struggling out there as a freshman. And, like, honestly, I know if I was in their position, I'd be pissed off if a junior or senior was sitting in the bullpen and, I was just getting out there lit up, and they were sitting out there because they said they were a little sore or whatever and in pain. So I was like, man, like, I've got to step up. Like, these kids are looking up to me. I've got to figure out a way to do the job. And so it really sucked, man. Like, it sucked not being able to go out there and perform, for them and for Coach Kingston and Coach B and everybody. So it wasn't fun at all. But I think when we went down to Mississippi State, just to give a perspective, is like we had 7 arms. I don't know if that was like reported or whatever, but man, we're going against the number, I think 2 or maybe number 1 hitting team in the country with 7 arms. And I mean, I don't know, they weren't our best arms. Like, it's not like we had our top 7 going.
Right.
So it was a struggle, man. Like it was a struggle, and it all started with that injury. But you got to find a way at times, and we did still find a way to get an SEC tournament. I know that shouldn't mean anything, South Carolina fans, like, and us too. Like, we knew that. Like, we by no means thought that really was a win.
Right.
We always want to get the postseason, so it was disappointing for sure, and we felt it. We really were down about it. Especially, you could see it after like the 5th weekend at SEC. You just kind of know where you stand. And then you throw on the fact that we were trying to pitch with 9 arms for most of the weekend, 7 sometimes, and you're trying to fight for your life. It's just tough.
Yeah, the perfect example, because 19 and 17 to me were just extremely similar, because I agree with you. The Carmen injury was the tipping point for sure. And I just remember so vividly watching you guys hosted Georgia that year. And it's like, I think Danny Lloyd threw the first game, or maybe it was Reed, but I just remember talking to somebody and I'm like, man, when you don't have a guy like Carmen and they've got a guy like Emerson Hancock throwing 98, like you almost have no chance. I mean, because you have to win that game 1-0 or 2-1 at best, most likely. You know what I mean? So
I think that was another side. Like, it's bad to say, because as a competitor, you always, like, you think you can win whenever, and if you don't, you're going to lose. And we thought we could win, but like, it didn't help that we matched up against a team that was a horrible matchup for us, like Georgia. Like, they had 3 freaking top line starters, and that's our first weekend. And here we have all those new kids, and we're trying to tell them, like, hey, because you can't really go in thinking SEC guys are too hot, because you're kind of like, you won't have the edge. So we're trying to tell them, like, hey, they're good, but like, they're beatable. And then Emerson Hancock comes out throwing 97 to 100. They bring guys out of the pen. The next guy is a freaking freshman who's up to 98. Like, at that point, I think I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for them, but it just looked like we were a little bit overwhelmed, deflated, I guess, as a group. And it might have been new guys or whatever, but it was just tough, man, running into a Georgia team like that the very first weekend.
For sure. I want to move to a positive note, the 2019 season, because I'm sure you celebrated in this success because you talked about he's your brother, TJ Hopkins, that Clemson series. I mean, I don't know what was going on that looked like a beach ball to him. I was at all three games. I mean, home run after base hit after RBI. Just talk about that weekend for you. I mean, again, I know it's tough because you're dealing with the injury, but to see your boy out there just destroying Clemson pitching, I mean, that had to be a blast.
The Tiger Killer. Yeah, dude. He every series, if you look back, I'm pretty sure he went off. Like,
yeah,
something else. Like, he's something else, man. If you put, it doesn't matter what sport it is, whatever. If you give him an extra edge like that, like the fact that he had his adrenaline going, like he can work himself up to hate just about anything, and it was like you couldn't talk to him during that series. He was just on another level, and it hyped me up, man. We would hype each other up too, and it was kind of cool because he was hurt my sophomore year.
Yeah, but that's right.
Like, he was the first one out of the dugout every time. Like, he was my hype man. So, like, I would try to be that for him, even when I, of course, was blowing all my games. I was still trying to be there for him, and of course every teammate of mine. But yeah, it was cool because we grew up together.
For sure. Talk about this past spring, obviously 2020. You're a grad assistant. Just kind of give me some insight of how that came about. I'm sure it was conversations with Coach Kingston and stuff like that. I mean, you knew you weren't going to pitch your senior year because of the injuries. Just talk about how that came about. I mean, unfortunately, the season getting shut down early, but what that experience was like for you, because I know it sounds like you're kind of transitioning into a coaching career.
Yeah. So the injury, like, I still can't throw to this day. Like, I can barely throw a baseball. Like, it's pretty embarrassing. That injury happened after Upstate. You still there?
Yeah, I'm good. Yep.
Yeah. So that injury happened after Upstate. And so I didn't even tell the coaches, cause I kind of thought it was just normal and like it would kind of come back to life. Cause that's kind of what it did. It was weird. But anyways, it didn't. And so I talked to Coach King in my exit meeting. He was like, "Hey, why don't you come join the staff? Help out Coach Meade." I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll do that," because I wanted to already get to college coaching. So yeah, like my senior year, it was a blast. It was new for me. Like, of course, like anything, it was a little new. Spending a couple extra hours a day at the field, not really having your hand in it as much. And obviously, like as a student coach, you're not really doing like, I don't know, I guess true coaching. You're more so just there to provide like help and be the go-between. But man, Coach Meade was really like welcoming with that. And we already had a good relationship. So it was really fun, like working with the guys, working with the freshmen, and just getting to see how everything works behind the scenes. But yeah, the season was fun too. I was curious to see how we would have stacked up in SEC play. That's for sure.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how did you think the season was going to go? Because I mean, it's just, we all kind of remember where we were when we heard the news when the season was canceled or whatever. And I mean, I'll be honest, I was pretty hyped for this team going into SEC play. I thought this team was obviously had the really tough series loss to Clemson, but I thought getting hot at the right time. Like I really thought this was going to be a team that was going to make some noise in SEC play.
Yeah, I think I've said this to a couple of my buddies because they always asked, especially like ones that were in pro ball and weren't in it anymore, and of course weren't in the program. But like I think with how Brandon Jordan and Thomas Farr were coming on to Matt, like Carmen was gonna figure it out. It was just a matter of when. So you're throwing 3 top line arms. I mean, the Thomas Farr I've been hearing has been up to like 97, 98 already this fall. Like Brandon Jordan's filth. And of course Carmen was a first rounder, and he, like I said, he was gonna figure it out. Then you throw our guys in the pen, you'd had to carry back in the back. They put him back there. Man, I think we'd have been really tough, to be honest. Tennessee was really good. That was our first weekend.
I mean, you see what Crochet, who would have started Friday, he's already in the big leagues.
Right. Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, that would have been –
That would have been a good test. It would have been a very good test.
Yeah, I'm not saying we'd have done well against him. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But I would have been curious to see how we would have done, honestly. I mean, I think we're a really talented group. It's all he says, she said. I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just more mad you didn't get to see like Majinski, Crochet, Majinski, Hancock. Like those would have been some legendary pitching battles. But I want to get your take because again, that was your 1 year coaching with Carolina. But overall, I mean, you know all these guys. You were there this past spring, and you mentioned Jordan, you mentioned Farr, and like I told you, I'm a huge baseball guy, so I'm already thinking baseball right now. I'm very high on this team as far as going into next season and kind of what Coach Kingston's building. I was able to go watch the Blowfish over the summer and see Brady Allen, see Wes Clark. Brendan Malone's going to be a freaking stud for this team, a stud. Just kind of give your overall. I mean, again, I know we're looking way ahead, and people ask me, "Hey, what's the rotation going to be?" And you're like, "Dude, I mean, it can change next week." But just your overall projection, just for Carolina baseball under Mark Kingston. I mean, I'm very high on it. I'd assume you probably say the same.
Yeah. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be. They're really talented. I think they'll be fine this year. They've got I've heard some very good things as far as guys throwing, what they've got coming in, the recruiting classes they've got for the next couple of years. I mean, it's going to be Carolina baseball will be okay. I really believe so. I think we all just need to kind of take a deep breath and just kind of let it happen. But the guys have been throwing really well. There's a couple guys that are throwing better than expected, at least from what I'm hearing. So it should be a really fun spring. I think there'll be some guys that some newer guys that'll have big time, seasons. I feel so. It'll be fun. And Brendan Malone, I think he was hurt most of the year. Last year. So he's a stud. If people don't know, that kid is a stud. He's gonna be a freaking first, second rounder. So. I expect him to have a big season too, but like you said, it's early, but I know they're super talented. Honestly, I haven't seen those guys since whenever we ended. I haven't actually seen any of them live, so it's not like I can really give any insight other than just kind of what I'm hearing as far as numbers go. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of flamethrowers. I know that a lot. There's gonna be a lot of radar gun popping.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I was gonna say I watched Brennan drop some nukes over the summer, so I mean it's gonna be a fun time for sure. I'm gonna get you out of here, Sawyer. But last question before I let you go: if you had to look back, and I know there were a lot of ups and downs in your career, but just your favorite memory. It doesn't even have to be on the field. Just favorite memory from being a Carolina baseball player, playing for the Garnet and Black.
Shoot,
I'm sure there's plenty of good memories you can't say aloud. I'll say that.
That is for sure. I had a good time, that's for sure. But I would say, honestly, man, probably my first game. I know it sounds cliche or whatever, but that's kind of a lame answer. But man, like it's not real until you walk on the field. And my brother went to school there, and he went to school there during the national championships. And I actually met Christian Walker, Jackie, and all those guys. So my brother was friends with a guy named Forrest Kumis. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah. Kumis is a good buddy of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually met all those guys at Kumis's apartment when, I think this was 2011 when they were all national champions. So, I remember that. And then all of a sudden you're walking on the field for your first game, and you're like, holy crap, now I'm kind of wearing the same jersey that these guys wear. And then Fish told me, I think I was Bobby Haney's jersey. And, they didn't change jerseys. So whatever jersey he had is the same one I'm wearing. So that to me was pretty cool. But, yeah, it was just really cool that first game, signing autographs, stuff you've kind of dreamed of. And, honestly, I almost caught the yips in the outfield because I'd never thrown with the fence that low.
Right.
And I'm playing catch, and of course, my throwing partner, he's an asshole. He wanted line. He's like, dude, I'm not throwing there. So I'm like, all right. So, I went out there, and I was like, Jesus, because there was all that student section right there. I thought I was going to just airmail one.
Just smoke somebody in the face.
Yeah. I was a little wild. So, but yeah, man, I was just looking around. I was like, holy crap. And seeing, family in the stands. You got 7,000 deep on opening day, or 8,000, how many ever we hold. It was really cool. So the first game was just really awesome.
Ironically enough, I think TJ's answer was damn near the same as yours. So there you go. You guys really are brothers. Well, Sawyer, I appreciate it, man. I'm going to let you go here, but I appreciate you taking the time, man. I know I can speak for all Gamecock fans, especially Carolina baseball fans. It was a pleasure to watch you do what you do. And I used to refer to you as the Bulldog, and you certainly were that, battling through the injuries and doing what you did. But Appreciate you taking the time, man. Obviously, best of luck with your coaching career, and we'll definitely be staying in touch for sure.
Yeah, man. Sorry about the alarms.